I hope I can remember everything I was thinking of. Happy Thanksgiving to all the Indians and Pilgrims. I just wanted to start this off by saying nobody can really take Obama or the left serious on guns, making more gun laws or gun measures, like they're going to do something important or good to solve any problems or make our security any better. You see gunmen get into France or other places with exactly the kind of weapons they're trying to say that they're going to keep off of the street. They don't. They end up killing people, and then you are uh, gunless with not even a revolver to take people on with. Um, I believe that everybody in America that's an American citizen has a right to own a firearm. Maybe they can limit who has semi-automatic or automatic weapons, and but it's still you have the First Amendment is freedom of speech. Second Amendment is the right to bear arms. So um, it must be as serious of a rule or a law for us to have a gun, actually, not have a gun, as much as it is for us to have free speech in particular. So I take that very seriously. Um, and the Democrat Party is, they will hint, if you listen to them long enough. I was saying uh, to my father yesterday that different people that come off very liberal and strange, if you listen to them long enough, they'll hint to you enough to where you'll be like, oh, because you'll be like, maybe, possibly, yeah, 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 that's right. And then they don't shut off and stop talking enough or at the right times. Sometimes maybe they do. They can um, show people their ignorance, and people catch on to really how dumb the Democrat Party people really are and think. Um, so you have, uh, um, so they say, never, do not ever let a crisis go to waste. It's actually never let a crisis go to waste, but I say it like I'm trying to use proper etiquette and say, um, do not ever let a good crisis go to waste. So how could they ever do anything right with the gun law in particular if they actually need crises like a gun shooting or something like that to actually take place so that they can come out and speak and they can come and talk to their constituents and their people, their subjects. So the Democrats are trying, from what I understand, from what I heard the other day, I can't remember for the life of me the source where I heard it from, but they said that the Democrats are trying to get the Republicans to sign a uh, bill or something to do with guns, new gun law, keeping guns out of the hands of terrorists. So uh, not only do the all hand delivered by the liberals are spending more money to get these refugees taken care of and make sure they're okay over actual homeless people and other people in this country. I'm sure if they could, they would probably um, wipe out um, homelessness, but I'm not so sure that they're doing it the right way. I think that everybody would enjoy a better life if they had more space and not just close confinement of what, like, about the size of a jail cell is. I could live with that. I would just, um, I would be amped to go outside maybe to the parks, or where I'm from, I um, generally went out into um, basically out to the woods and stuff. And it was fun because um, you are looking for natural stuff like natural springs, and um, just the overall beauty of Oregon in particular is really phenomenal. So it's a treat just being able to go out to the woods and explore. See, we wanted to, one day, we went, one time I went with a crew of friends, and we wanted to see how many waterfalls we could count, or something like that. How many waterfalls we could hit up in a day on the way out Diamond Lake, going out Diamond Lake, towards Diamond Lake. Um, anyways, they're not gonna do anything right, and they wanted to introduce a bill um, keeping terrorists from being able to buy guns. So I'm not positive about the seizing of guns from terrorists, but who do they call terrorists? The left wingers call the NRA, and other people that support the NRA, maybe, and right wingers, they call people like that terrorists. They're actually Americans. They're from here, and they're just defending their own space and country. And they've gone too far, twisting with words people's characters, people that are typically America's backbone, working class people, would generally typically have a firearm. So now we want to get into more of how we're going to go about this as a community, and not the government, and actually push the government to the side and actually be more successful, because I don't see the government really doing us any favors, or us benefiting from the government being involved with any gun laws. That just looks like they're trying to take my right to bear arms away. And the forefathers gave that to us. The military is maybe, how many people you think are in the military? Probably maybe a million. Is there about a million people in our military? So we have the largest militia military in the world as we speak, because um, we're all armed, and we would all assemble to fight if we had to, and that is um, basically, you're talking about what, maybe one third, maybe a third of the country probably possibly has a gun. I'd have to look into that in particular, but it's a large community of gun holders as it is. So as it is, they're showing an example of people being able to have guns. Um, just everybody basically has one already, um, and that's how it is. It's not normal, average, everyday Joe citizens that are causing problems and committing crimes with guns. They are stolen guns, guns maybe manufactured in ways that um, they're not able to be sold in a gun store or something like that. Or somehow somebody goes in and buys a bunch of guns for a bunch of hooligans, or they're a hooligan and they bought a bunch of guns. I don't know exactly how it happens, but I could easily have another person buy me a gun if I had the money to go buy a gun. And I couldn't, and if I had a felony or something like that, I could easily find somebody to purchase the weapon for me. And then um, all I would do, um, maybe to make the person uh, legit or whatever, is I would have them give me a bill of sale or whatever, and I'd write them a note or a document too, um, stating a trade or where you stand on your deal with that individual. So, um, who what would be the best way to um, basically keep guns out of hands of people that shouldn't have it? Can gun owners, um, should they um, say reserve the right to refuse service? Say somebody comes in and they're seeing if I was behind the counter and I was selling guns at a gun store, should I have the right to deny somebody who I think is acting a little weird, or being a weirdo, and say, yeah, I don't think we're going to sell you a gun, and then basically have somebody kick them out? You know, and I don't know if you necessarily have to 86 something like that. Maybe they could buy something non to do with firearms directly, but you have some of the gunmen though that are still alive that basically uh, didn't kill themselves or didn't get took out by the police somehow. I don't know how. It's kind of crazy. Um, I was asking police to kind of step up. I don't know that you really need to hear what these people have to say. I think that you just need to snipe them. And if a guy has, like the guy in the Oregon shooter there, recently, uh, in Roseburg there, how, if he shot himself, well, how come he was looking for recognition for that, or like media attention, and then he just killed himself anyways? It's really odd. And I want to keep in mind, people, uh, I want to point out that he was a foreigner. And when they say republic, he was talking about the republic, like a Republican Guard, like Saddam Hussein had a Republican Guard. But these are the IRA. That's what they mean, the IRA. It's a faction, not a political party. Anyways, so he took himself out, so you couldn't make an example out of him. He basically already made an example out of his own self. Um, he diffused, or how would you say that? He kind of melted down there himself and blew himself away. I don't know why anybody would want to go and do that to other people. I think that's really troubling and odd. Uh, so I'm not convinced that there has to be a way for there to be proof that people are being successfully rehabilitated. Say, like, they once were um, bad, but now they are reformed. But I just want to say, is there um, actually to the point where you kind of like wonder if a person is actually um, rehabilitatable? That's even if that's a word. I hope that's a word. If the person can be rehabilitated at all, um, and I personally believe somebody who does that to other people like that, are, I don't know what's wrong with them, but and I don't know. I'm not sure that they can be rehabilitated. But the ones that did this on purpose to get military, I guess, military treatment in order to get, what do you say, media attention like that. So what I think that we should do, it's like not politically correct and, oh, you can't talk like that. Well, they're sentenced to death, but I think that the thing that we should do is take them out. Even the guy who, the organ shooter, even though he killed himself, I think that we should still go through with it and at least desecrate his body. So the desecration of it, the part of the body is the skull that I'm talking about. You take the person out. These guys that are still alive, they're gonna get the death penalty or have got the death penalty. I think that their punishment should be, because they know that for a fact that's the person that did it. They should take them out and maybe not put it on TV for little kids to see it, but it should definitely be uploaded, and people should be very aware of it as much as the people were aware of Gaddafi being drug out, and they were of that, but they weren't of Chris Stevens. You guys seriously didn't know Chris Stevens had that they did the same thing to him that they did to Gaddafi, basically. Gaddafi. Um. So, anyways, take these guys out, put them in front of a camera, and morbidly, kind of like the ISIS terrorists or whatever faction, another faction group does with innocent people, and actually take really highly guilty people and take them out and crush their skull somehow to where it kills the person, where they basically have to suffer through the excruciating torment of having their skull crushed and crushed to death by their head being smashed like a grape. And I don't know if you want to pop their brain out that way, or if you want to just flatten the sucker and just flatten it. But an example has to be made, people, and the government's not going to do it, and they're not going to do anything right. So, anyways, I just want to tell everybody out there, I want to say hi to the military in the world, wherever you are. How's it going, military people, personnel? I love America, America exceptionalism. And this button right here, this says right here, it says America is number one because of our veterans. I'm from Oregon, that's the Oregon seal, American flag, and then don't tread on me with the rifle right in the middle of it. But anyways, I was saying to the military especially to have your family members and family members of military people or friends or people that may know somebody in the military overseas that is in combat or fighting. Send them uh, send them bacon grease if they cannot get bacon grease there. They're not cooking bacon there. To save the bacon grease, um, and get their hands on bacon grease and dip your bullets in it. I'm not sure that there's um, morbid things that you could do to terrorists to make them stop terrorizing the world. Um, let's see, Count Vlad. Count Vlad was somebody who I think had to do that at a time when it made sense. They are savage people now, and I don't know if impaling the enemy now would do anything to make them slow down or stop. So I think that we're at an ends with the pig grease. That's why I said that. So send a military service person that you know thing of figure out how to do it and get it done. Get it in there. And I know that even though that they're highly against pork and pigs, that there's pig farmers in the Middle East. That there's people that eat pig in the Middle East. There always has been, just like anywhere else. Because when Christ was alive, he's alive. I'm just saying when he was here before he died and rose from the dead, when he was walking the earth, he did an exorcism. He took the demons out of the people and put them in the pigs, and then made the pigs kill themselves. So I know for a fact that there are pigs out there in the Middle East, and there's people walking them around or something, or they got them in a pig farm or something. But there are pigs overseas in the Middle East. I'm telling you. So I know that for a fact. So people have to do the best that they can to just the gun shops to deny strange people guns, even if they're gonna pass a gun check. And people who hear weird things, maybe they should ought to at least be able to put the police and community on alert of strange acting people who are weird. I seen that show Cops and stuff where they go in there and they confront somebody on meth or somebody acting really crazy, you know, and that might be a little bit different than these deranged people we're talking about that go in and shoot people all up. I don't know exactly how we're supposed to stop those people, not from shooting people to death, but from thinking in their mind that they need to go and do that in the first place. So I'm not sure that would have me kind of flabbergasted and at my wit ends, sort of trying to figure that one out. Maybe I should ought to do some psychiatric um, investigation, investigating on that in particular, because I'm really curious um, now, not from the shootings, but from just things in general, in life in general, makes me just wonder if there's a way that you can prevent people from thinking that's necessary in the first place. And they're what? They're like sad. They're like, ooh, it's so sad. I have to go kill a bunch of people. That's terrible. It's terrible. I don't know why anybody would ever think that they would be so sad that they would have to go kill a bunch of people. But I don't buy that. I still think they're um, a dork. Worse than that, they're just evil, tormented souls that allowed their soul to be tormented, I guess, from within their demon possession. So you have to perform an exorcism, maybe. I have no idea. So we made an example of the gunman, talking points about the Democrats, what they want to do. So they want to make this law now that they want the Republicans to pass through that gives them a way that they can uh, tell terrorists they can't get guns. Um, I don't think that that's right. I think that if you know somebody's a terrorist, you need to bring their ass in the fucking jail. You know, pardon my French, but I mean, I don't know how else to put that. And these guys are they're acting so dumb, and I'm serious. If you listen to these people long enough, you'll hear and you'll figure out just how stupid they really are. And at least you can leave there with a sound mind, even if you are bitterly confused, even more so than you ever were. Because as time passes like an hourglass, when it goes through and then the time runs out. As time progresses and goes through like that, it's only going to be more revealing and revealing like an hourglass through the timeline that it's in that George Bush had correct information on the war. Now, what would people be saying? They would have elected another Republican. There would be complete Republican whole thing if everybody all understood the confirmation of the sources and how basically I mean they just don't understand how fucking James Bond, our military or CIA or other operatives and people in the world that we're allies with and that help us get information like that exactly have to be in those situations. And then you go and believe shit that you just hear Democrats saying is just not true. I mean, and it gets thicker and thicker every day. So basically, you can only point out the truth from all of the lies. Anyways, it's disappointing and it is very sadly, I would say dishonorable. They dishonor me and dishonor other Americans, themselves, and America. That's how they're doing with all of that right there. So, um, so they'll pass that. They think that they don't really think that. They use that for their evil excuse and their evil ways so that they can help distort the truth and bring America down and lie. And the truth will only set us all free. So, what would happen if everybody understood and everybody was on that and said, okay, the Iraq war was justified. There's no way that any of that propaganda or the lies that were told by the Democrats is true. Obviously, they made all that stuff up, the 9/11 conspiracies, the government conspiracies, and all that. Basically, they own it all because the Republican right wing group does not have in their practice do not let crises go to waste. They actually probably think it's much more smooth when there isn't a crisis, when things aren't um, acting like that. But I would say, though, the one thing that I kind of am tired of, I am tired of the bullying and the policing and the downright intrusion in people's rights, their sovereignty, their constitutional rights, their freedoms, and to have them mocked with our own police and our own government and whatever else. I'm just sick of it. Um, sick of it to the core. So if there's anything that I would address to the Republicans and say, I vote Republican, so you guys have to listen to me. It's only fair. Rick Scott does it all the time because I tell him straight up, dude, I vote for you and I helped you out in your campaigns. I went door to door for the guy. I still would, but I want them to understand with everybody else and what's going on. This is between me and the citizens and the Republicans right now. I can include all of the government entities, uh, say like the IRS or not them in particular, but the FBI or other places like that that are not political, that don't act as political. So I'm just saying, uh, I'm talking to them, all of them in particular, not the Democrats. Um, that there is what these guys are doing to get more power, because I don't think that police or those other people, if they're responsible, they really want other people to be irresponsible just so that they would have a job. The more responsible everybody is, if people don't have to be a police officer, they'll have a job, something else that they can do and be happy and be successful in anything that they want to do in particular. If um, everybody is responsible and there's more, um, say, going into you pay more attention to in particular on how to keep people from committing crimes or becoming a criminal other than trying to get people caught up like that or people act like an ass. So you have people that just act like a dipshit as it is. um, what you need is um, you need people to really be responsible. I don't need to elaborate on it too much. It's simple in layman's terms. You need to have more people be able to break themselves free out of those prisons and out of those chains and jail cells. Because the government's not going to do it. And these different police agencies aren't going to do it. They're there and they're strong because of people losing their minds or people, I would say in particularly having, um, doing things, having been caught up in life in general, giving society the need for having all of the police that they have. So having it maybe a police state. And the more people act up and the more crimes being committed and people acting a fool, then the more that the government expands like that. And the Democrat Party understands that too well. I understand that from patterns and things that I understand and people explaining that to me and me um, basically being able to develop an opinion around, why Democrats want, they're going to act like, oh, it's godly to act like an asshole. They're going to be like, oh, it's godly to go to the club and whatever. I think it's more, uh, I think it's better to keep God out of it. It's like the marriage thing. Marriage is a typically a Christian type of practice or something like that. It's a union type of thing that um, brings people together, but you want to exploit that in something that's not the same thing. You're distorting things as it is. You want to use God at times um, for your benefit, to try to use it as your benefit, and then all of a sudden you want to be politically correct, and then you're like, oh, you can't bring religion into it. Oh, I can bring religion into it. You can't bring religion into it. It's just like the wars, you know. Oh, the wars are so unjustified because a Democrat wasn't president. What would have happened if Al Gore would have got elected in 2000? You know, you had all those shenanigans. The World Trade Towers were attacked the first time with Bill Clinton. The USS Cole was attacked. No, these things in particular have to be addressed the way that they went down and the way that it is in history. The USS Cole happened because Bill Clinton told the military to basically cease fire, not kill anybody who is a possible threat to them anymore. So he took guns away from people at the recruiting depots so that recruiters could be a shot out there, you know, eventually, and they did. But the USS Cole is a typical disarming of the military, disarming of the police and the militia and people in general as it is in America, because what they do, they told the military to stand down, and they were hit by a bunch of terrorists. So now I believe what the military does is, if one of these liberal presidents or somebody tries to tell them not to do it, they ignore it. They just shoot the people anyways, and they don't even respond to the president, as far as I know. But anyways, that's all I have for that video. Gun talk without the government. Obama says here, Obama Obama demands that Americans talk about gun control on Thanksgiving. And what is that? What is it? He's a bad man. Obama demands that Americans talk about gun control on Thanksgiving. So I think that the best way to get people to stop doing that is to take these little suckers out when they do something like that. If they want media attention, you take them out and you have somebody stomp the person's skull into a pancake, flat into a pancake. That's my idea of gun control, a gun control measure.